Welcome to Manchester Metropolitan University. The health, safety and well-being of everybody who visits, works or studies on our campus is our genuine top priority. We all have a responsibility and a duty to minimise the risk of adverse events and the potentially devastating effects that they cause. I would encourage you to spend a few minutes undertaking this induction course so that together we can be assured that we've put in place safe systems of work. In summary, what we expect from you is simple. Prior to arriving on site, that all required arrangements have been made and that the work is authorised to go ahead. We'll turn you away if you arrive unannounced or ill-prepared. Before starting work, applicable university processes for controlling risk are understood and implemented. And please, whilst working on site, be vigilant and mindful of the hazards. Do not undertake any activity or task that puts yourself or others at risk. And expect to be challenged if you aren't working safely.
Our health and safety policy is a legally required document which reinforces our commitment to ensuring the safety of students, staff and visitors to the university and describes how we manage health and safety at the university. It can be found on the university website under the Health and Safety tab. As part of the Reset certification scheme and the onboarding process, you should have received a copy. Please read and make sure you understand our health and safety policy before starting any works. If you have any questions, ask a member of the team. This document has been produced to help everyone, including you, assist in the reduction of risk and prevention of injury to staff, students and visitors. In it, you'll find all the do's and don'ts relating to the management of health and safety here at the university. Make sure you read it before you start any works, and if you have any questions, please ask a member of the team. As part of the induction, you'll be issued with a contractor handbook. You must have this with you at all times. Expect to be challenged if you don't. Within the Contractor Code of Practice, there are a number of rules we ask you to follow. All contractors must report to the commissioning manager before starting, and you must have a completed site access permit. Manchester Metropolitan is an equal opportunities employer, and any discrimination or sexist remarks will not be tolerated. All contractors must fully understand the emergency arrangements for first aid, fires, accident reporting and evacuation procedures. All work is to be carried out in a safe and correct manner that does not increase the risks to yourself or others. All contractors must conduct themselves in the correct manner whilst on university grounds. If you're undertaking any works that you suspect may disturb or cause you to come into contact with asbestos, you must ensure that adequate control measures are in place before starting work. If in doubt, stop work. When signing in at a building reception, you'll be informed of the location of the muster point and what to do in the case of an evacuation. You'll also be told of any tests that will be carried out that day. At all other times, on hearing the fire alarm, you must evacuate the building. If possible, work areas are to be left so as not to be a hazard to others evacuating. This includes switching off any plant and equipment. You must not re-enter the building until permission is granted by university staff. In the event of an injury or requirement for first aid, you should contact reception. If the emergency services are required, please dial 999 first and then contact the relevant reception. Contractors must provide suitable first aid supplies if there are significant risks associated with their activities. Out-of-hours first aid can be arranged via security. They can be contacted on 0161 247 1334. That's extension 1334 from an internal phone. In the event of an accident, dangerous occurrence or near misses, all works are to stop, and it must be reported to the university. Works can only restart on the approval of the university. Ensure your work area is kept clear of obstructions and clearly demarcated. Ensure any materials and equipment are stored appropriately and work is carried out in a safe manner, following your risk assessments and method statements. Stop working if any risks to you or others appear. Any works that involve working at height must be carried out in a safe fashion and follow HSE guidelines. Operators of any equipment designed for work at height, step ladders, mupes, cherry pickers and so on, must be suitably trained. Any machinery and equipment you use must be fit for purpose and in good condition, and can only be used by competent operatives. It must be inspected prior to use. No university equipment can be used by a contractor unless authorised. Protection of the environment is important to us here at the university, and we have a robust environmental management system in place, which we require all contractors to adhere to. We ask that whilst working at the university, you make sure all waste is disposed of correctly and any hazardous spillages are reported to the Estates Office immediately, and appropriate clean-up measures are implemented. The arrangement for skips and the removal of waste must be pre-arranged with the university before work starts. Any waste transfer notices should be submitted to the university on completion of the works. All materials with a potential COSH hazard must be used, stored and transported correctly in accordance with the COSH Regulations 2002. All relevant product information, for instance safety data sheets, must be provided. Adequate risk assessments must be in place, and where possible eliminate or substitute for safer chemicals or processes. Operatives must have the correct PPE and understand the control measures which are required. Whilst conducting your work, you must maintain good standards of housekeeping at all times. All evacuation routes are to be kept clear at all times. Welfare facilities will be provided for you on site. When carrying out new build and maintenance works within the university grounds, you're to ensure that any works that involve alterations to the fabric of the building are suitably conducted and left in a state that conforms to or exceeds the necessary fire regulations. Further to this, appropriate making good of work areas is required at the end of projects to deter the spread of vermin. The use of wire mesh and other suitable barriers is recommended around pipe runs through walls. When going through compartmentation, fire stopping must be reinstated to the correct standards. Asbestos-containing materials are known to be present in some university buildings. Manchester Metropolitan has a comprehensive asbestos management plan and asbestos register. If you're working in an area where asbestos has been identified, your university contact will provide you with the information you require to ensure safe working. Prior to commencement of any work, a site access permit will be completed to identify areas where work will take place. If asbestos is present in these areas, the asbestos-appointed person will be consulted to provide advice and support to contractors on site. This approach will limit the likelihood that you'll encounter asbestos-containing materials whilst working at the university, but will not completely remove the risk, so please be vigilant and proceed with caution. As part of the onboarding process, you'll register with the Reset Certification Scheme. This assesses your competence and will authorise your access to your place of work. Once registered, you'll be given a Reset card, which will allow you to log in and out of the site via the pedestals located throughout the university. Risk assessments and method statements must be carried out for all works prior to starting. Failure to do so will result in delays to starting. No RAMs, no work. For small or routine works, there is a site access permit system in place. Most works undertaken by contractors will be subject to this process. Before starting any small works, a site access permit must be in place. For larger works or higher risk activities, a permit to work will be required. Examples of permit to work activities could be roof access, hot works, work on plant and/or equipment, and entry into confined spaces. University staff will inform you if you require a permit to work before starting. Further details can be directed to the university's commissioning manager prior to arriving on site. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We hope you understand the university promotes a culture of safe working, where unsafe behaviours and situations are challenged. The university has a yellow card, red card system in place to help combat unsafe working practices. Any works that increase risk to yourselves or others will be stopped, and dependent on the nature and severity of the circumstances, could lead to you being asked to leave the site immediately and permanently.